Hello everyone, welcome back to Kimmy's Blossom Cake again. Three interesting Italian meringue facts that you might not be aware of are what I will be discussing today. I began making floral buttercream cakes with Italian meringue buttercream as a cake decorator in the cake industry. Bean paste flour cakes are also highly well liked in Korea, and Italian meringue is frequently used in their creations. I've noticed that the majority of cake decorators in Australia use Swiss meringue buttercream, while some also use French and American buttercreams. Now let me share with you the three questions that students have regarding Italian meringue buttercream the most. I've made over 1,000 cakes and have a lot of experience decorating cakes, especially when it's come to crafting Italian meringue buttercreams. Have my previous tutorial how to make a perfect buttercream if you have never made Italian meringue buttercream before. The link is provided below. Let's now review the question and their answer. Number 1. Why is sugar added as syrup when making Italian meringue? Italian meringue is added sugar to stabilize the egg white and give it distinctive structures and consistency. Italian meringue is prepared by slowly mixing both sugar syrup while the mixer is running into beaten the egg white. The egg whites are somewhat cooked by the boiling sugar syrup, which also stabilizes the meringue and give it harder and glossy textures. Sugar also keeps the egg white air bubbles from collapsing by forming a strong network of sugar molecules that holds them in place. The meringue would collapse or lose its stability if sugar were not present. Italian meringue sugar contained can be customized to taste in addition to adding sweetness and increasing flavors. In order to stabilize the egg white and produce the fluffy glossy meringue, it is crucial to add enough sugar. If you add a large amount of sugar all at once, the sugar will absorb the moisture in the egg white, making it almost impossible to create a foam. Although water is necessary to dissolve the sugar, the moisture in egg white is not enough. Therefore, when add a lot of sugar, it is necessary to dissolve it in water beforehand to make a syrup. Add enough water to dissolve the sugar. Boil it to temperature between 118 to 120 degrees. Remove any excess moisture and then pour it into the meringue. Although syrup is already viscous, it becomes even more viscous as it cools, which helps to provide the shape retention of whipped egg white. Number 2. When making Italian meringue, can we put all the sugar in syrup? After adding some sugar to the egg white and beating them, the hot syrup to make a fine meringue. When hot syrup is added to the whipped egg white, the egg air inside the bubbles suddenly expanded, increasing their volume and causing the bubbles to grow. Therefore, it is recommended to create small bubbles before pour the syrup. To create small bubbles, it is better to add sugar when you first beat the eggs. When sugar is added to the egg white, it impedes their ability to form well. So if you intentionally create an egg-tight environment and then form it up, small air bubbles will form. If you make small bubbles, the bubbles will not grow too big even if you pour the hot syrup later, and you will have a fine Italian meringue. Number 3. When making Italian meringue, why do you keep beating while the hot syrup cools down after pouring in? When making Italian meringue, you keep beating while the hot syrups cool down after pouring it in to allow the meringue to cool down gradually and to ensure that it is properly incorporated. When hot syrup is added to the whipped egg white, the mixture becomes quite hot and continue to beat the mixture while the hot syrups cool down. Allow the meringue to cool down gradually and to prevent it from deflating. If the meringue is not beaten while the hot syrups cool down, the meringue might become too hot and start to collapse. By continuing to beat the meringue, the heat is dissipated more evenly and the meringues remain stable. Additionally, the continued beating of the meringue helps to fully incorporate the hot syrup and create smooth and glossy textures. Overall, the key to making perfect Italian meringue is to add the hot syrup slowly and steadily while beating the egg white continuously, and then to continue beating the mixtures until it has cooled down completely and reached the desired textures. Air bubbles tend to burst when the temperature is high, but they become more resistant to bursting when the temperature drops down to increase the surface tensions. Additionally, as the boiling down syrup cools down, it becomes moderately viscous, which helps to stabilize the foam. Therefore, when making Italian meringue, it is important to pour the hot syrup slowly into the egg white that have been beaten to some extent and then continue to beating the lower speed until the mixture has cooled down completely. That's all for today's tutorial. 3 most common questions that students have regarding Italian meringue buttercream. I hope you find this information helpful, and again the link is provided below, how to make an Italian meringue buttercream and how to make a glossy buttercream. If you have any question, please let me know about it, and thank you so much for today. Blossom your cake, blossom your day. I will see you guys next week. Bye bye.